Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you're viewing this at. Uh, this is fourth class Joe Scatterday, and I will be giving you a presentation on anabolic steroids. Some of the topics that I'm going to be discussing in this presentation are: what are anabolic steroids? When and why were steroids developed? What do they do? What are some health problems caused by anabolic steroids? The medical use. Are steroids safe? Why do people use them? How are steroids made? And some different types of steroids. And then at the end of the presentation, I will be giving just a small personal opinion on the drug. What are anabolic steroids? Steroids are a synthetic steroid hormone that resembles testosterone and in promoting the growth of muscle. That's how it resembles testosterone. These hormones are used medicinally to treat some forms of weight loss, which is illegal, and by some athletes and others to enhance physical performance, which is also illegal. When were steroids developed and why? Anabolic steroids were developed in the late 1930s. They were developed primarily to treat hypogonadism, which is a condition in which the testes of a male do not produce sufficient testosterone for normal growth, development, and sexual functioning. What do steroids do? Steroids promote the growth of skeletal muscle, and this is the anabolic effects, and the development of male sexual characteristics. This is androgenic effect in both males and females. They are anabolic and increase proteins within the cell. They are increased especially within the skeletal muscles, like I said before. And anabolic steroids have been known to develop masculine secondary sexual characteristics like the growth of vocal cords and body hair. What are some health problems caused by anabolic steroids? One major one is acne. Another is breast growth and shrinking of testicles in men. Voice deepening and growth of facial hair. High blood pressure. Heart problems, including heart attack and death. Liver disease, including cancer. Kidney damage. And aggressive behavior, otherwise known as roid rage. And here I have an image just showing some more effects on the human body that steroids have. And actually, in my search on anabolic steroids, I found a case study about steroids, and in this study there were 12 weightlifters that took steroids, and there were 7 weightlifters that did not take any of the steroids or drugs, and the average age was about 40. The average steroid, the length of the steroid use was 9 years, and the duration of weightlifting, total activity level, and weight, the groups were similar. The muscle mass, though, the steroid users had more than the non-users due to their steroid use, clearly. In the result, a healthy left ventricle, the heart's main pumping chamber, pumps 55 to about 70% of the blood that fills the heart. This measurement is known as ejection fraction, and when the Doppler echocardiography ultrasound was used to examine blood flow through the heart, most of the steroid users showed evidence of weakness during contraction in the left ventricle. 10 of the 12 steroid users had ejection fractions of less than 55%, which has been linked to an increase in risk for heart attack and heart failure. One of the 7 weightlifters with no history of steroid use had a low ejection fraction, which is a lot lower than the 12 who did use steroids, clearly. And the steroid users also showed evidence of impaired diastolic function, which is the ability of the left ventricle to relax and fill with blood following contraction. And the left ventricle relaxation was reduced by almost 50% among the steroid users compared to non-users. And here I have another image of just some of the cons to steroid use, the effects that they have: jaundice or yellowing of skin and eyes, aggressiveness, baldness, acne, development of breast on males, permanent liver damage or liver tumors, diabetes, infertility, stunted growth in teens and children, and heart problems. And for women, permanent deep voice, facial hair, and acne. Effects on the unborn child if they were taken during pregnancy. High cholesterol levels, problems with periods, diabetes, and an enlarged clitoris. Medical use, bone marrow. These are just some examples of bone marrow medical use that steroids have been used in. Bone marrow stimulation, growth stimulation. This used to treat children with growth failure. Stimulation of appetite, induction of male puberty, hormone replacement for men with very low testosterone levels. Are steroids safe? No. Clearly, if you do research, you'll find this answer. Anabolic steroids are not safe unless they are prescribed by a doctor, which they are, but it's pretty rare nowadays. Many risks to both injectable steroids and the tablet steroids that you use orally. Why do people use them? Steroids are abused by athletes to enhance their overall athletic performance. And another main reason people use steroids is to increase their muscle size and reduce their body fat. And most people who use steroids for this reason of the muscle size have a behavioral syndrome called muscle dysphoria. And this is what this causes them to have a disordered image of their bodies. And they just constantly think that they're not big enough or aren't muscular enough, even though they are. And they just always are trying to get more muscular, and that is what leads them to the use of steroids. How are they made? Anabolic steroids are made in laboratories and have the same chemical structure as the steroids found in the male sex hormone, which is testosterone. Where do steroids come from? Anabolic steroids are manufactured by pharmaceutical companies, and they are available legally only by prescription. Most of the steroids used by athletes are smuggled, stolen, or made in home laboratories, which is very dangerous. Here are just some different types of steroids, commonly used steroids. Oxymethylone, this is a popular name, is Androl, and that's taken orally. Nanadrolone, loxophenylpropionate, and that's injectable. Oxandrolene, that's commonly known as Anavar, and that's oral. Testosterone, commonly known as Androderm, and that's transdermal. Testosterone undeconate, that's commonly known as Androl, and that's taken orally as well. And to wrap things up, my personal opinion on steroids. When it comes to the use of steroids in the medical aspect, I'm for them, as long as the user is prescribed the steroids, obviously, and is using them correctly. But when it comes to people who abuse steroids and use them for their own personal reasons to be more muscular or improve their athletic performance, I am completely against this use. And the reason simply is just there's way too many cons that affect your life and can ultimately lead you to death. And it's just not worth it, in my personal opinion. No one should be using steroids. And to end it, this is my works cited, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on the use of anabolic steroids. Have a good day.